So I'm a little sorry that Helen isn't here because I cleaned the sink in anticipation of Helen's presence. And she doesn't even show up. Isn't that just like a woman?
I'm just like a woman. Did she make a remark about the sink itself?
No. I just did it out of the goodness of my heart. I just
unsolicited courtesy.
Yeah, I just wanted Helen to have a clean sink when she came here for Torah talk, and
that's true chivalry. Without he was anticipating her needs, and that just goes to show true righteousness is not rewarded in this world.
So it's Torah portion Vayeishev, and we're talking about Jacob settling down, and how Joseph was his favorite son, and all the bad things that come from that. So, do you know many families where there's a favorite child and does it cause problems?
Yes, I think my mother's family growing up, her son. I think it's common in a lot of kind of ethnic families. The son is worshipped and the daughters are not, and I think that caused a lot of problems. I think it's hard for children to think that they're not, to get the idea that they're not as valuable as their siblings.
Right.
I think it's very damaging.
But it's not like it would be regarded as a bad thing socially, I think, in contemporary Jewish life to favor one child. I mean, you'd think the neighbors would start talking, and your friends would start talking, and
I think any decent, yes, I think personally I think it's indecent to have your family like that, but no, I mean I think Jewish families are still son worshippers, S-O-N worshippers. So at least as far as the genders go, I think that the sons are privileged.
Well, the Talmud says that women are a curse because when they're young, you have to watch out for their chastity, and when they're not so young, you have to watch out for them committing adultery, and then when they get older, you have to watch out for them committing witchcraft. I think that sums it up pretty well.
Well, in a way it does. I mean, I think the question is whether you have to watch out for it or whether it's their business. But I think those three stages are perhaps accurate.
Chastity, adultery, and witchcraft. Pretty much those are the three life stages of the woman.
Female, yeah. No, but I think I guess my own take would be that it's kind of their business. I mean,
Witchcraft?
Well, sure. If that's their thing, that's their thing. I mean, you're not going to stop them. All you're going to do is make it more enticing to them by telling them it's forbidden.
But, you have to watch out for their chastity, because if a girl gets kicked out of a yeshiva here in Los Angeles, basically every yeshiva in the world is going to find out about it. And so they'll try to send her somewhere else that doesn't know. But once a girl's been hooking up with guys in the Orthodox world, she's pretty much toast everywhere in the Orthodox world.
Yeah. Well, I think at that point, if a woman really discovers that she enjoys sex a great deal and enjoys it more than she dislikes the social stigma of having a lot of it, I don't think there's too much to be done at that point. I think she's just got to find her niche. And I don't know what it's like to be
Orthodox.
But yeah, I mean that's your problem, not her problem, kind of. So I don't know how you handle that.
I remember Rabbi Michael Broyd came to town, and he was giving a lecture about some of the most interesting cases that he's presided over with the Beit Din of America. One of them was a case of a 55-year-old man. His best friend came to stay, and his friend was 55. And during the course of the Shabbat, the 55-year-old friend seduced the 15-year-old daughter. So the father, the father went to his LOR, local Orthodox rabbi. Because when you have a problem, you should always go to your LOR, your local Orthodox rabbi. Told him what happened, and the local Orthodox rabbi recommended that he gather a group of men, and they beat the offender, paying particular attention to the organ that caused the trouble.
Yes, right.
So they did do that, and the man had to go to the hospital and sustained some permanent injuries, and he sued.
Mm-hmm.
He sued the local Orthodox rabbi, and for giving
Right.
that advice.
Okay.
And the local Orthodox rabbi said, I'd be happy to go to a court and plead my case.
Good for him.
Because which court's going to hold him guilty for protecting the honor of... Oh, and the girl, this is the interesting thing, the girl didn't have any problem with what happened.
Right. Well,
She didn't want to
Good
talk
for her
about
too.
it. She wanted it just forgotten. She didn't have
keep
any
on rolling.
complaints. She
Yeah.
just wanted to keep on rolling.
yeah. Well, good for her. She's the hero of the story to me then. But I mean, well, I don't know. But it wasn't considerate of her. But to do that to her father. But well, that is very, very interesting.
Isn't that an interesting case?
I mean,
And
wait, when was
he
this?
didn't even
When did it take place? Like how long ago?
he didn't say,
He didn't
but
say.
I'd say it's in the last 20 years.
Right.
So, and Rabbi Broyd made the point that when it says in the Talmud that you should obey the law of the land, that only means the law as it is practiced. So, if people are driving 58 miles an hour and the speed limit's 55, you're allowed to drive 58 too.
Right.
And while you have to be over 18 or older to consensually have sex, practically it's not usually enforced at age 15
Right.
or above. So,
I mean, is that true even for if you have sex with a 55-year-old man at 15, or is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, I mean, I think that's very reasonable. I mean, the explicit law and the real law are always going to be different. So, that makes good sense to me. The punishment also has a logic to it, though. I mean, it reminds me of when I was working with a lot of young kind of homeless addicts in medical school. They very often revenge was taken on genitals. It's not funny. I don't know why I laugh, but yeah. I mean, that was kind of seemed to be the natural order. Is that for sexual trespasses, the punishment was to the sexual organ for men. So what did he make of that, though?
he didn't give his ruling. Rabbi Broyd didn't give his ruling. He just gave us the case. It was interesting.
He's not a good friend, the guy who did it. That's true, though.
Yeah. What was interesting was how angry all the women in the audience got at the story about what happened.
Why?
They were outraged about the 55-year-old man.
Oh.
And they were outraged, and they were very, very angry.
Why? Why were they angry?
I think it's just an instinctual anger. I think partly a protection of children, and partly that women who are getting older hate young, attractive women.
Yes. Yeah, fascinating, because I think that sounds right to me, and it sounds right that it's a combination of the two. That it's one is a genuine kind of, wait a second, she is still a child, and they're right. She's a sexual creature at 15, but still. But so one is a genuine kind of protectiveness of her interest, and the other is a dislike for her because that's who men want.
John Derbyshire made this great point in a review of Lolita, that a great way of gauging what men want is to look at rape statistics. So I think that the top age for rape is like 12 or 13.
Wow.
He raped down to 12 or 13. That's
that's
the most
creepy.
popular age to
That's
rape.
surprising to me, actually.
And that after the mid-20s, rape statistics go up a continental shelf.
Yeah.
So most men have very little interest in raping women who are about 26 and above.
Right. Yes. But
That's what men want.
And yet, rape is not about sex. but no, I'm surprised to learn that it's 12 or 13 because that's kind of pre-sexual. I mean, I always said that. I think. I mean, I don't know.
Did you ever read Lolita?
I did.
Wasn't that an amazing book?
You
didn't think it was a great book?
It was. I've always found it a little confusing, to be honest, because she was, to me, okay, she was coquettish and everything at the beginning. I guess her physical immaturity, to me, I don't understand the sexualization.
Well, she was 12. She was 12, right?
But she wasn't
12.
physically developed.